Hello, this is OMG Bomber with my first guide for Giants B10. So before we get into Giants B10, I want to look at the abilities of the boss. Fend Off is its passive. Counterattacks the enemy immediately after the 7th attack. It's an automatic effect. So you're going to have 6 attacks before you have to choose who you want to tank the counterattack. Great Earthquake damages all enemies, reduces their attack speed, and then just a normal auto attack attacks all enemies and has a chance to stun them. Today I am going to be doing this with easily obtainable monsters. Bernard, Shannon, the Water Howl, Bella Dion, and Megan. All of which a lot of players have. So it should be no problem to mirror my comp. First I'm going to go over the runes I have on each monster. These are just suggestions, and it is not mandatory to copy the comp exactly. For Bernard, I have Swift and Focus, going for accuracy and speed as well as HP and defense. The reason being is because Bernard is a semi-squishy monster because he is a support unit. He is there just to kind of give my team a few buffs and a few debuffs. Same thing goes with Lulu. I have Swift Energy on her, going for speed, HP prioritized over everything because of her. Both of her heals are HP reliant, and then defense. The health that she heals does not have anything to do with her own HP, just each individual target's HP. But it's really nice just to have HP on her to keep her alive if she ever does get focused. Next is Shannon. Shannon is probably one of the squishiest monsters in the game. I have her at 5-star, which is very scary to a lot of players. I also am running her a Despair Focus set. I think that if you are running her 5-star and you have troubles with the Despair Focus set, as it in her dying very often, I would try out an all energy set, or maybe even a double energy guard set. Both of those are very viable for her, just to keep her alive, and I did prioritize a lot of speed on her as well, just to get her up and moving, more skills out. She's also a support unit. Bella Dion, a defense unit that has an amazing kit for Giants. The weakening effect on auto attack allows you to clear the waves much faster. The heal with attack bar increase allows you to attack faster while also healing your team. And then the Dispel will allow you to remove the power buff of the left crystal on the Giant. Megan. What a wonderful unit. This unit has brought me so far in the game and was one of my first 4 6-stars in the game for arena purposes. I prioritize speed on her over everything, and I have only went for a Swift set and opted out of going for a 2 set to prioritize even more speed on her. I opted into defense and HP on her as well in order to start using her in a PvE environment after recent meta changes in high rating PvP. But her abilities will help you immensely in this fight. Attack bar increase, defense buff, and attack buff is amazing in this fight, mostly for the defense buff, but attack bar increase will also help your team. A Dispel with blocking beneficial effects. The beneficial effects will most likely always wear off, but the Dispel will help you get rid of the power debuff or the power buff on the giant, which will cause him to do a lot of damage to your team. And then the Dot. The damage over time effect. Continuous damage is equal to 5% of their HP. This can speed up the boss portion of the fight immensely. So now that we've looked at that, I hope you guys know the roles of each individual monster. I'm running a very heavy support, tanky based team. So let's start it up. And before we get in there, you'll want to realize if you have autoplay on right away. And if you do, try to get that off as soon as possible. This time I don't. I'm going to open up with the attack power buff, defense buff, and gauge buff on my Megan in order to bring out my team to attack much faster. I'm going to start by decelerating everything on the map here. And with the Despair set, I did get lucky. Sometimes you will get lucky and stun both of them, but your priority is to kill these crystals. Those crystals will do a lot of damage to you compared to the golems. The golems are basically crowd control tanks for the crystals. The crystals are the DPS, and there is no healers, or revivers, so you don't have to worry about much. You just have to kill the DPSers and then move on to your tanks. I'm going to turn on autoplay for this one golem. If you do have relatively okay ruins, you won't have to stop and pause right here. But I'm going to stop and pause here in order to auto attack this monster to death, in order to conserve my abilities. Now that I'm opening up on this next wave, I'm going to be opening up fresh. I'm going to have all my abilities up, and I can use everything I wanted to on the bot or on these crystals just to be safe. I'm going to do the same exact rotation there, except this time when I turn on autoplay, I'm going to be attacking this crystal because this crystal did not get affected by the slow buff. I'm going to autoplay target this other crystal and try to kill that off as fast as possible, because those are very dangerous. Those are dangerous to your 5-star monsters, especially when you have lower based runes. When you have lower runes with less health, you're going to have to try and work it out. But the thing is it's going to be worth it in the end. If you can manual this, eventually you'll be able to get the runes for your main team, and you'll be able to bring that into your Giants B10 team. There is no shame in having to kill the little guys first. Sometimes you have to do it, and sometimes it's safer. I'm going to pause it here. Now that I have this boss a little bit weak, I can go in for the kill with auto attacks. Healing up as need be. because you don't want to go on to the next wave without being full health. You do get a minor heal, so the health I'm missing on Megan should be replenished by next wave. Passively. Every wave that you clear, you get a minor heal to your team and one turn off of your cooldowns. Now that I'm on the last golem, I'm going to heal up my whole team. And I'm going to try to auto-attack this guy to death. Conserving as many turns as possible in order to reset my abilities to have all of my abilities ready for the boss. Alright, at the moment, the boss is full attack gauge. He has a power debuff on him, and my entire team has an armored buff on them. There are some of my units that have defense weakened, so I'm going to sit here and dispel. It's on a pretty relatively low cooldown if you have your Water Howl max skilled, which I highly recommend if you're going to be using that. I opted into taking the crash on Megan. She had no reason not to be able to do it. She's a 6-star unit. She's one of my tankier units. I have 3 major tanks on my team that I feel very comfortable at all times being able to take a crash or a counterattack, which are Megan, Bella, and the Water Howl. I don't feel comfortable with my Shannon or my Bernard, even though they are wind units and they will receive less damage because they are wind units versus the water. They are also 3 stars and they are support units. So you have to keep in mind how much damage your units can take. So I'm going to turn on autoplay here for a little bit. And at the moment I'm going to pause it. The main units that I'm afraid of is Shannon dying. So I'm not going to let that happen. I'm going to try to save her. I'm at 6 for my crash count. And I always feel comfortable tanking the shot with Bella. My Bella has a lot of HP. She's a defense type monster. She's very tanky. And I'm approaching 6 stacks again. And I will take it with my Bella, that's fine. But I'm going to dispel my Shannon again, because my Shannon is very weak. She might get killed by the boss, and I don't want that to happen. Right there, I opted to not dispel the power debuff on the boss. I should have probably dispelled it. I would have saved a little bit on my team. And right there, I actually auto-attacked the boss, and I almost died with my Shannon, which is fine this late in the match. You can lose Shannon now, but it is not optimal. You don't want to be doing that. You want to be able to use her to attack the tower. She can attack the tower when it's her turn and she doesn't have anything to do. You can auto attack the tower to avoid that incoming damage on Shannon. Rinse and repeat. And you'll be farming giants in no time. Now I want to take some time and put in a little bit more of an advanced strategy. My fire dragon could be replaced with a lot of other fire attackers in the game. Maybe even a fire wolf would work. But the main deal, the reason why I'm using a fire unit against this is for autoplay purposes. And you'll see right here. Notice how I'm not clicking the crystals this time. The reason I brought my dragon along is so that my dragon can attack the crystals. He is a fire element. As long as there's not a weakening effect on another monster, one of the tank golems, he should auto attack the crystals, forcing the crystals to die relatively soon before they can kill off my support units. You're probably thinking to yourself, at the boss, isn't the dragon gonna do a lot less? Yes, he is, but as long as I have Arachi and Acasis, they have a lot of dots in their utility. Damage over time effects like we used earlier with Megan, which will take the boss down relatively quickly. The fire dragon is just here to lend a helping hand in order to get to that part. Again, the fire dragon could be replaced with many other fire DPS monsters. And at this point, I'm going to take a little time out and just try to conserve abilities before the boss. And that certainly sped things up. This strategy can also be manipulated. There has recently been an Acasis Hall of Heroes dungeon. You can mix and match many different types of combinations and see what works for you. Something like this would definitely be pretty good and reliable. McKean has a revive. Well, not McKean. Michelle has a revive. And with the resistance, that will definitely help you avoid the left tower. Well, this has been OMG Bomber on my first guide. I hope of many. Thank you, and have a good day.